Please be seated. Dear students, dear relatives and other supporters of the students, dear colleagues. My name is Mark van den Brand and I'm Program Director of the Department Mathematics and Computer Science. It's a pleasure to welcome you and the candidates for this graduation event. I am happy that we can celebrate this event together on our campus. As a department, we are proud of the fact that today these students will receive their degree of Master of Science. This has been the result of hard work under sometimes difficult circumstances due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We offered these students a rich variety of high-level courses, given by excellent teachers and a challenging graduation project. These ingredients have prepared you all, these graduates, well for their future career. Candidates, I sincerely hope that you enjoyed our university and our challenging educational program. The examination committee for CSE has assessed the work of the following candidates: Yuri Hanen, Richard Singh, Claudio Theodor Nohai, Leonard Tuderache, Evelyn Slavchevs, Daria Mikolaivskaya, Maas van Apeldoorn. The examination committee for data science in engineering, DSIE, has assessed the work of the following candidates: Yuri Vis, Siam Fazudarian Siam, Rens Oostenbach. The examination committee for IST, the security track, has assessed the work of the following candidates: Ardela Issouf. And I would like to invite the first candidate and Dr. Van Elzen to come forward.
Geachte ingenieur Hane, beste Juri, please. Yes, dankjewel. Van harte gefeliciteerd. Ik heb je mogen begeleiden bij je afstudeerwerk samen met Promovenda binnen de visualisatiegroep Sanne van der Linden. En dat was me een waar genoegen. Dus, je hebt je afstudeerproject in deeltijd gedaan, ook omdat je, zo leerde ik later, op topniveau stijldanst. En je daar ook de nodige uren aan spendeert. Nou, je afstudeerwerk ging over het inzichtelijk maken van events, oftewel gebeurtenissen. Dus denk aan gebeurtenissen binnen een proces. Vaak worden binnen die processen alle gebeurtenissen vastgelegd en ze worden gelogd. Denk bijvoorbeeld aan een proces wat er gebeurt als je ziek wordt. Er wordt een diagnose gesteld. Vervolgens krijg je een behandelplan, medicijnen, operaties. En uiteindelijk word je ontslagen en mag je weer naar huis. Nou, heel veel van wat er werkelijk gebeurd is, wordt vastgelegd. En een probleem daarbij is het volume. Dus de hoeveelheid gebeurtenissen die er zijn. Dus denk bijvoorbeeld aan het ziekenhuis, nogmaals. Je hebt honderden patiënten op een dag en die hebben allemaal heel veel behandelingen en gebeurtenissen. Dus duizenden gebeurtenissen. Nou, om simpelweg inzicht daarin te krijgen, kan visualisatie een goed hulpmiddel zijn om dat op te lossen. Maar simpelweg één blokje te tekenen of één rechthoek voor één gebeurtenis, dat werkt dan niet langer, omdat je zo'n groot volume hebt aan gebeurtenissen. Nou, je hebt je op dit probleem gestort En daar is een hele mooie oplossing uitgekomen door gebruik te maken van visualisatiemethoden met automatische methoden en ook de gebruiker in de loop, zodat hij of zij haar domeinkennis kan gebruiken. Je hebt een mooi prototype ontwikkeld, waarmee je hele grote aantallen gebeurtenissen kan analyseren. Hier een mooi voorbeeld van je prototype staat er op de slide. Nou, de opdracht zat vol met technische uitdagingen, waarmee ik u niet zal lastigvallen. Maar die waren niet altijd even makkelijk om daar tot een oplossing te komen, maar je hebt je daar prima doorheen geslagen en een hele mooie oplossing gemaakt. En een veel gehoorde zin tijdens onze meetings was, oké, komt goed. Ik moet er nog even wat aan sleutelen en dan werkt het wel. Nou, en dat was inderdaad ook altijd het geval. Dus, je was heel zelfstandig, kan uitstekend literatuur vinden, lezen, programmeren ook geen probleem. Automatische methoden inzetten. Daarnaast ben je gewoon een heel prettig persoon om mee samen te werken. Je hebt uitstekende communicatie, hele goede sociale vaardigheden. En ik deel ook je interesse voor design. Dus om alles wat je oplevert er zo goed mogelijk uit te laten zien. En een mooi voorbeeld daarvan was denk ik je eindpresentatie, die er echt tip-top uitzag en waar je duidelijk heel veel tijd aan besteed had. Nou, ik wens je heel erg veel succes in je toekomstige loopbaan, maar ik denk dat dat absoluut geen probleem gaat zijn voor jou. Ik hoor dat je inmiddels een baan hebt gevonden als trainee consultancy en ik denk dat dat een baan is die helemaal bij jou past, door je kennis en kunde in te zetten om mensen te adviseren. En ik hoop dat visualisatie daar nog een rol bij gaat spelen. En ik weet zeker dat je sociale vaardigheden je daar super mee gaan helpen. Dus, Juri, ook namens Sanne, nogmaals van harte gefeliciteerd.
Richard, please come forward.
Beste Richard, daar staan we dan. Ik heb jou begeleid met een opdracht waar ook Kees Huizing een grote rol bij heeft gespeeld. De titel hier staat ook vermeld, Combining Daphne with Program Derivation. Het gaat terug naar een doos die ik van een collega had gekregen, waarin hij vele jaren aan programmeeropgaven verzameld heeft uit een tijd dat het programmeeronderwijs hier nog heel anders eraan toe ging dan het nu is. Als ik u zou vragen, reken uit 471 maal 367, dan kun je natuurlijk proberen te gokken en op je gevoel te zeggen wat dat is en wat proberen en zo. Zo gaat veel programmeren vaak wel. Maar je kan het ook gewoon uitrekenen. Er zijn mooie rekenregels voor die gewoon een exact antwoord geven als je de regels natuurlijk kent en goed kan toepassen. En bij het programmeren hadden wij ook lange tijd in ons onderwijs zulke technieken zitten. Een voorbeeldje uit jouw verslag is het probleem waarbij je een histogram hebt, zo'n staafdiagram, waarbij je naast elkaar een aantal staafjes hebt staan van een zekere hoogte. En dan is de vraag, wat is het grootste vierkant dat daar ergens onder past in dat diagram? En dan kun je natuurlijk wat gaan programmeren en proberen. Maar je kan het ook heel netjes uitrekenen, zo'n programma. Alleen dat deden wij toen met de hand. En als die getallen groter worden, dan kun je natuurlijk met de hand dat ook nog wel doen. Maar dat gaat niet zo lekker, want wij maken fouten en worden moe als je dat veel doet. Dus met programmeren, de schaalvergroting is nooit gebeurd, omdat het met de hand gewoon niet zo gaat. Tegenwoordig zijn er mooie gereedschappen, waaronder Daphne. Dat is aan de ene kant een programmeertaal, aan de andere kant is het een bewijsassistent. Een systeem dat je kan helpen om te redeneren over programma's. En zelfs voor een hele hoop probleempjes zelf oplossingen kan vinden, bewijzen kan afmaken. Dus dat is Heel mooi. En aan jou was de opdracht van, kun je eens kijken of die technieken die wij destijds met de hand uitvoerden, of je dat ook met dit systeem zou kunnen doen. En daar ben je zeer voortvarend mee aan de slag gegaan. Een aantal punten ging het eigenlijk best verrassend makkelijk. Het systeem kan inderdaad heel veel. Er waren toch ook wat punten waar het tegenviel. Er zitten wat onhebbelijkheden in. Dus daar moest je wat dingen verzinnen om dat in goede banen te leiden. En uiteindelijk heb jij in je verslag een heel systematisch schema gegeven voor hoe die handmatige technieken met de moderne ondersteuning uitgespeeld kunnen worden. Wat op zich heel nuttig is. Aan de andere kant, we staan natuurlijk wel op een punt in de wereld met kunstmatige intelligentie dat het programmeren drastisch verandert en dat zelfs zo'n tool als Daphne ingehaald wordt. Maar het is wel mooi dat het is vastgelegd. Ik moet zeggen dat onze bijeenkomsten waren altijd heel prettig. Heel goed voorbereid altijd. Je had wel in het begin wat moeite om inderdaad die corona-perikelen achter je te laten en weer in het gewone leven terecht te komen. Ik denk dat dat nu weer je hele ritme weer gevonden is. Ik wil je nogmaals feliciteren, ook namens Kees Huizing. En succes met je verdere loopbaan.
Claudio.
Congratulations, Claudio, for reaching the end of your master's studies. You will here receive the diploma. Unfortunately, I cannot be in the room. And I think you did great. You investigated how models like UNets can act on a localized level, so like for denoising tasks, but also following some very interesting work on how units can actually be used for decryption, how they can have this very different global behavior. And you investigated how you can go from one behavior to the next and see how the model reacts. I think it was a long project, very technically difficult, and I think you overcome quite some difficulties, and it was very good to see. And I think was a very good experience. And you really focus a lot on the software and on the development of good software. I think actually like the best anecdote to highlight this is actually during your final defense, you actually gave a demo and you were fearless in showing how the system was working. And it worked very well, and I think that was very nice. So I think with that, I want to congratulate you again. I wish you all the best in your career. And as I understand, you will remain in Eindhoven. There may be opportunities to see each other. Congratulations.
Leonard, please come forward. Dear Leonard, first of all, congratulations with your master degree. You have worked on a project to build a digital twin for 3D concrete printing. You already had experience with digital twins via an internship at the ICT group and wanted to do a graduation project on this topic as well. Sandra Cimeria from Build Environment and I had a discussion on the possibilities to explore the use of digital twins in in 3D concrete printing. Actually, Sandra is a material scientist working on the composition of concrete for 3D printing. And she wanted to see how far she could get in the development of several techniques using digital twins. The process of finding the right composition and in relation to 3D printing is a process of trial and error. And as you can see from the picture, these are big setups, and if it goes wrong, then you have to throw away a lot of material. So finding the right composition in this 3D printing is a big challenge and can save a lot of material if you do it first time right. The composition fulfills a whole list of requirements with respect to drying, stiffness, strength, etc. Your final assignment was actually twofold. On one hand, developing an architecture for the digital twin for 3D concrete printing, so that we could see what is going on, how things work, and how the print head moves, etc. And the second part was applying machine learning techniques to obtain the data on the data obtained from running experiments in the built environment to predict the effects of changing the composition of concrete. Overall, it was a challenging assignment because of the restricted amount of data on one hand and the multidisciplinary aspect on the other hand. And also the fact that the built environment had only one setup of the printing machine, and that also contributed to making things very restricted. You are currently working on writing a scientific paper based on your final thesis, and that is great. I also would like to thank both Under and Sander as co-supervising during your graduation project. Let me say a few personal words about you. You are a very motivated and hardworking student, and you will go on until you find a real solution. And that's what I observed in your graduation project. And this was actually one of the reasons when we had a vacancy in our group related also to digital twins, but also to security and to IoT, that I offered you a PhD position and you gladly accepted this PhD position. So you will continue working on digital twins, which is fun, but now in a different domain on IoT and security, but you have some experience in security, so I have full confidence that this will also get to a good end. Again, congratulations also to your family and friends. Evelyn.
Dear Evelyn, we first met in fall 2020 when you took a course with me, Advanced Algorithms, and well, met maybe not really because there were over 200 students in the course, so we didn't interact a lot, but apparently you liked the course, despite the fact that I think it was quite challenging for you. But you still liked it and you decided to specialize in algorithms. You took several other of our courses, also our seminar, and then you contacted me for a thesis project. You indicated that you prefer to do an experimental thesis project rather than a theoretical one. And we decided to do an experimental study on clustering. Now, clustering is one of the most important, I would say, and widely applicable problems in unsupervised learning. The setting that you studied was on the one hand, a relatively simple setting where you just have points in two-dimensional space. So imagine that, on a piece of paper you have lots of points, and maybe they form sort of groups, clusters, and the task is, given a parameter k, to find sort of the best k clusters in a certain mathematical sense. Now this has been studied quite a bit already, but you are looking at the case where you actually don't really get the points exactly, you only know roughly where they are. Maybe there's some measurement errors or maybe some other reasons that you don't know the exact locations of the points, but you still want to cluster them. And on that challenging problem, not so much was known. So you looked at various heuristics for that, you came up with a few yourself, you implemented them, and you compared them to how good you could do if you would know the exact positions of all the points. And I think you obtained some very nice and interesting results there. I would say despite the fact that you were quite busy also, at the same time you were working a bit, I think you also spent quite some time in the gym. But nevertheless, I think you worked quite hard and at the end wrote a nice thesis. Also, I think in the thesis, especially the analysis part and the theory was initially a bit difficult, but I think during the project you actually learned and matured quite a bit, also in how to think about what is a good experiment, what do you want to do if you want to know something, how do you set up the experiment, and so on. So I think you really matured as an academic. Your programming skills, I would say, were already very good at the start, so that also really helped to do a very nice thesis work. So I think you did a very nice project. I definitely enjoyed supervising you and working with you. You were always very friendly and well organized when we had our discussions. I also learned that I think probably as many of your international colleagues, you will stay in the Netherlands at least for some more time, which I think is very nice, hopefully for you as well, but I think also for us as a region and as a country, because we definitely need academically trained, highly skilled computer scientists like you. So thanks for staying around in our currently beautiful and not so rainy country. In other days it's different maybe. In any case, I want to congratulate you again, also your family and friends, and good luck with the rest of your career.
Daria, could you please come forward?
So, Daria, we are standing here at last, at the end of a very interesting and joyful journey, which has started I don't know when it started for you, but for me it started actually during the seminar. So you proved there to be a very good student, and I didn't need to hesitate when you asked me afterwards if you could do your graduation project with me. I accepted it with pleasure. And during that time, you also proved to be a real professional, real researcher with a critical mind, looking very critically in what you are doing and what others have done. Although you were very brief, that was the discussion we always had, right? So writing very, very short paragraphs, very, very short chapters. Everything was there, but you were just very brief. So at the end of the project, you improved upon that as well. You were interested in system architecture, and when I talked to you about the the project on data sharing platforms for agriculture, you found it interesting. You wanted to help the farmers to be informed about the emerging behaviors and be prepared for it, and still be informed about informed decisions that they can make. So you took that project with open hands, and you actually made a very nice piece of thesis out of it from research perspective. But your programming skills were extremely overwhelming. That nothing was difficult, and that made me also ask you for, can you implement this? Can you implement that? So at the end, we ended up with a full-fledged data sharing platform, which I hope that is at some point it becomes useful for other stakeholders as well. You didn't prove yourself as a very good researcher and critical mind person only, but also as a very kind, very professional, very organized person. And it was a pleasure supervising you in this journey. Please allow me to congratulate you and, of course, your family for this achievement, and I wish you all the best.
I would like to invite Maas forward.
Well, Maas, here we are again. Well, when we started, you were looking for an applied project, and I think we found a very suitable one for you. So your project was about UFO trees, upright fruiting offshoot trees. So collaborators in the US are working with cherry trees that they want to kind of automatedly pick and prune. And for this, they have robots taking pictures of all the trees that they are working with. And what they are then interested in is actually analyzing the shape of these trees, how they grow, what would be the best way for them to be pruned, for the cherries to be easily picked, maybe automatically or by humans. And this pruning task, if we have to automate it, it actually saves a lot of manual labor. Like, people don't have to remember where the right way to prune a tree is in order to grow. Computers can do this much more efficiently and also have much more memory than a typical human does. But for this automation to work, we need a lot of steps to get there. One of them is actually figuring out what the shape of my tree is, because the tree that the computer would see is just a point cloud, a LiDAR image. And as we saw, the point clouds that we obtain, they have some kind of anomalies that we have to deal with. For instance, there's branches occluding other branches. There's wires that the trees are attached to, so to keep them upright. And all of these things show up as additional or missing point clouds that we somehow have to fill in or remove. And this is part of what your project was about. In the end, you were trying to skeletonize trees to get rid of these anomalies. So when we first started, we had a very early meeting with our collaborators in the US. And during that meeting, I already saw, like, you're a great communicator. Like, you pick up every kind of difficulty that is in this problem. And this also, appeared later on, because you kept communicating very well with those collaborators. Also, during our own meetings, our in-person meetings, you were a very good collaborator, very good communicator. You always kind of knew what to do, what to implement next. And The process was not without its difficulties. I think you were going through a move. There were several occasions of sickness. Even at the end, during your defense, even though we had most of our meetings in person, your defense, unfortunately, had to be moved online, which did not make it a worse defense. Like, I think your presentation was very good. It was very clear, communicated also to your family, what you were up to. So yeah, thanks again, Maas. Congratulations.
I would like to invite Yuri to come forward.
Good afternoon, everyone, and a special hello to Yuri. First of all, congratulations on your well-deserved graduation. I'm very glad that we both could be here to meet one last time, and I could hand in your diploma myself. Overall, it was a very great pleasure for me to supervise you during your graduation project, where you did good research and great job. To those of you who don't know, Yuri worked on reinforcement learning problems with intrinsic rewards, which is a very challenging problem in the reinforcement learning area. And so it has a very connection to many real-world problems. Yuri researched on the effects of combining techniques based on prioritized experience replay in different forms into this problem, which led into very insightful results on the areas that what methods work in this area or what doesn't work. I really enjoyed working with you in completing your thesis. You are a very intelligent and self-motivated student, and you independently executed the project and reached out for discussion whenever necessary. Particularly, you were kind of relaxed in our meeting and flexible, which I really liked because it also made it easy for me to supervise. And I believe it might have something to do with your artistic nature. So he plays in a band I had, and I think there might be an album soon, he said. Very much looking forward to listening to it. So to Yuri, congratulations again, and all the best wishes for the new chapter of your life.
I would like to invite Siam to come forward.
Yeah, dear Faisal Darain, or Faiz as I always called you, congratulations with obtaining your master's degree. You've been working on deep learning techniques applied to a board game called Drafts, or in Dutch it's called Dammen. It's a fairly popular board game in the Netherlands. Now, in the last decade, the company DeepMind from Google has worked on computer games, and they have achieved some spectacular results on all kinds of board games using a technique called AlphaZero. It's a self-learning technique, and the interesting aspect of this is that you start learning games from scratch without any knowledge. You just teach it the rules, and then it plays games against itself and learns from that to reach a certain level. And they have been applying this to games like shogi or chess or Go, and in all these cases they reached superhuman levels, so really much stronger than the strongest human players. And especially for the game of Go, this was really a breakthrough, because for a long time this has been the holy grail of computer games. Now, this technique called AlphaZero has not been applied much to drafts yet, and the assignment of FICE was to investigate how well does AlphaZero technique work in drafts. Now, in the past, there's been one student in Groningen who has been working on this, but the result of that was quite disappointing because it only reached a beginner level, nothing more than that. Now, FICE has done a lot of work. This AlphaZero framework is quite complicated, has a lot of settings, and he worked to optimize all these settings for drafts, and in the end, he trained the program by playing millions of games on a large cluster of machines. And now he brought us quite a step further, but I would say now we have reached, say, amateur level, so like a decent club player. That is the level of the program that FICE trained, but we didn't reach anything further. But based on FICE work, I think the conclusion is that AlphaZero is not really the best technique to learn drafts. It has a lot of trouble with the tactical patterns in drafts, and this is something that we show that AlphaZero is not well suited for this. Yeah, on a more personal note, I think that this graduation project was quite a test for your character, because you had to deal with a lot of setbacks. First of all, you started with a completely different project in your preparation phase, because you were planning to work on recognizing 3D objects and do that in a company. But then when this was finished, you were ready to start, but all of a sudden it turned out that your study program there was a problem, and it caused a delay of 3 months. And after that, you were planning to begin at the company, and then the company said, yeah, bad luck, the assignment is no longer available because the responsible person has found another job. So you had to start again from scratch, and then you were willing to work on this deep learning. Yeah, and then you worked hard to finish everything, and after half a year you did a lot of experiments for weeks, you trained the program, and in the end, yeah, you showed that this program had been learning, but I was looking at the result, and I'm a decent draft player myself, but I could see, I didn't trust the results. I was pretty sure there was something wrong, and then, yeah, we had to look into this. It was impossible to stop here. And again, yeah, it took quite a hard work to figure out where exactly something went wrong. We looked at it together, but finally we figured it out. And then you had to do all the training again, and then we were fairly sure that everything worked fine. Yeah, lastly, yeah, also a bit more funny. A couple of weeks before the defense, you got familiar with the concept of snow in the Netherlands. You started playing outside for a whole day, and then you got sick at a very critical moment in the graduation project. But you worked very hard and still managed to finish everything in time. I think you can be very proud of that you persisted, even though you had a lot of trouble during this whole project. Finally, let me congratulate you again and your family, and I wish you all the best in your future career.
I would like to ask Hans to come forward.
So I'm reading George's speech on behalf of him. Dear Hans, respect. Congratulations on making your way through your studies to a well-earned and well-deserved master's degree. It was a real pleasure to get to know you during your thesis project, and it was also very nice to get to know more about you and your family who were able to attend your thesis defense. You chose a very difficult and challenging problem for your thesis project, how to determine whether or not algorithms for detecting communities in society represented as social networks are fair or unfair. You did this work in collaboration with Dr. Akrati Saxena and myself here in the Data and Artificial Intelligence cluster at TU Eindhoven. This is scientifically and socially important problem which has not been studied before. The contributions of identifying this new basic challenge, designing sophisticated methods for measuring fairness in social networks, collecting and systematizing the state-of-the-art in community detection methods, and performing extensive experimental evaluations are tremendously valuable contributions to science. Working with you has been a very pleasant and a smooth experience for me. Akrati and I recall happily your focused efforts carried out with a high level of independence and creativity. You are hardworking and self-motivated, even in the face of technical and scientific challenges. Indeed, you are not only an excellent and knowledgeable programmer, but you can also readily grasp and digest the big picture and abstract theoretical details. Your final report, presentation, and defense all reflect the high quality of your work and your own high standards as an engineer. I am very happy and lucky to have been involved with your work, and I can only hope that I will be lucky enough to continue to work with students of your quality. Hence, I wish you the best of luck and success in your next steps after graduation and in your future career. Please keep in touch and let us know about your next discoveries. Yeah, congratulations again.
And finally, I would like to ask Ardela to come forward.
I hope it's not a surprise, and you have been informed that I will read the speech of your supervisor for you. Very good. So, I begin. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to celebrate the achievements of Ardela in the field of cybersecurity. It is with great pleasure that I commend her good work. In Ardela's thesis, she tackled the complex challenge of supporting decision makers in selecting the most appropriate cybersecurity controls for organizations. Now let's break down her project in simpler terms for our non-technical audience. Imagine a scenario when an organization needs to strengthen its cybersecurity measures. It's like building a fortress to protect valuable information from potential threats. Ardela's work involved developing a methodology, a step-by-step approach to help decision makers determine the best cybersecurity control for their organization's need. This methodology is unique because it leverages security data collected by a security operations center to guide the decision-making process. Embarking on this journey was not easy. Ardela had to collect and analyze a significant amount of data, which was crucial to understanding the intricate problem at hand. But she didn't let the challenges deter her. Ardela's brilliance shone through as she navigated the organization where she conducted her research, finding the right people to speak with, asking the right questions, and ultimately organizing the information she gathered. This process, which could have easily overwhelmed other students, didn't hinder Ardela. Her dedication, willpower, and unwavering spirit allowed her to succeed where others might have faltered. Her ability to persevere in the face of adversity is truly commendable. During our time working together, I had the privilege of witnessing Ardela's remarkable personal characteristics firsthand. Her kindness, not only towards me, but to everyone she encountered, left a lasting impression. Furthermore, Ardela's organizational skills were evident in our supervision meetings, ensuring that our collaboration remained efficient and productive. As with any technical project, challenges arose during the development of the methodology. However, Ardela's positive spirit and determination prevailed. She faced these hurdles head-on, demonstrating her tenacity and her ability to overcome obstacles. The journey was embarked upon together was a partnership built on trust, mutual respect, and shared dedication. Ardela's ability to embrace these qualities enhanced our collaboration and made it a pleasant experience. Today, as we applaud Ardela's achievements, we celebrate not only her technical expertise, but also her personal qualities that have contributed to her success. Her intellectual abilities, coupled with her kindness, organization, and resilience, set her apart as an individual. As you step into the next chapter of your journey, we have every confidence that you will continue to make a significant impact in the field of cybersecurity and beyond. On behalf of the TUE community, I extend my congratulations to you for your accomplishments. May you continue to shine brightly and inspire others with your brilliance and remarkable personal qualities. Thank you.
I would like to invite Wietske to come forward and to address the students and the audience on behalf of GEWIS.
Dear students, or actually graduates, as you've now graduated, family members, and all other attendees. As was said, I'm Wietske de Bond. I'm the current chair of GEWIS, the Study Association for Mathematics and Computer Science. As GEWIS, we've organized many activities ranging from educational LaTeX trainings to parties, and from career lunch lectures to fun festivities like a Valentine's Day activity or a Christmas market. But let's get back to why we're here. Today is a special day, because today is your graduation where you receive your master's degree. But also on this day, if you go back exactly 50 years ago, the Ethernet network was invented by Robert Metcalfe. And this invention was really great as it enabled computers to communicate with each other within a network. And it really was, part of the start of computer science. And in a similar way at this moment, you are at a new chapter of your life. Maybe you will start doing a PhD here at the university, or start a totally new job at the company. But there are a lot of possibilities, and they're all connected to you within the greater network. So this is a time for you to start achieving many more goals and maybe become the next Metcalfe with a new invention. This master's degree is reserved for only a small percentage of the population, and right now the graduates are part of this. So it probably required a lot of energy, motivation, and hard work, but you did it. So you can be very proud of yourself. I think your family members and friends are very proud of you, and I'm also proud of you, also on behalf of GEWIS. So congratulations. As you're now graduates, you're also invited to join ADA, the recently founded Alumni Association, to stay in contact with fellow alumni, to be updated about other events that are happening, and stay in touch with the TUE community. Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing for me is to congratulate you all once again with this wonderful achievement, and I hope that it may be a stimulus for the rest of your life, that you can achieve anything if you work for it and do your best. Thank you.
Dear Masters of Science, with reference to the words of the previous speakers and on behalf of the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science, I would like to congratulate you and your families on your degree. I wish you every success and good fortune in your future careers. You have been conferred your degree of the Master of Computer Science and Engineering, Data Science and Engineering, and Information Security and Technology. This degree entitles you to use the titles Master of Science and Engineer. The academic title also comes with responsibilities towards society, and therefore I will read the Code of Conduct. The scientific degree of Master of Science involves duties as well as rights. As the holder of this degree, you are committed to the standards of scientific integrity, trustworthiness, intellectual honesty, openness, independence, and societal responsibility. These standards are described in more detail in the Netherlands Code of Conduct for Research Integrity and in the Eindhoven Code based on it. You also have duties towards society. You must be clear about the boundaries of your own expertise, and you must communicate honestly and independently about the results of your work, including potential risks associated with it. You are committed to the ethical codes for research and design involving human subjects or animals. And this almost brings me to the end of this meeting. Dear relatives and other supporters, our photographer will take some pictures of the candidates, and I will ask you kindly to leave the room, unless you would also like to take some pictures, and wait outside to congratulate the graduates. Upstairs, drinks and bites will be served in the lounge. Thank you for joining us in this diploma ceremony, which I hereby close.